move these shovels into a position like this. And then, just as a little added accent, you can untab the cockpit. Like so. And then we take this, put this off to the side for now. Almost done. We got 2 down, or we got 6 down, 2 to go. So, high tower and scrap metal. Take high tower. If his combiner port hasn't already been extended, go ahead and do that. There's several ways you can do this. I'm just going to do the way that doesn't involve a lot of parts forming. So you're going to take his crane arm, collapse it back just so. Untab the treads, and then this little clip is actually going to go clip into this side of the vehicle mode. So go ahead and just do that on both sides like so. Extend the head and neck, drop this all the way down, and this will pop out, of course, because it always does. And then this little square piece just drops down like so. Put this off to the side. I hope you could see that, because I'm not going to go back into... Okay. Hang on. Let me go ahead and... Okay. I just realized that I wasn't looking at the camera and this was all down here. So, take the treads, untab them, clip, port, do that. Same thing on both sides. Take the head and neck assembly, drop it all the way down, drop this down so that this little square port is exposed forward. Set this off to the side. Scrap metal. Extend the bucket, drop down this little piece. Go ahead and take this panel that was parts forming for him and go ahead and just plug it on. There's a port or a post and a port. Plug it right here. As per the instructions, it's supposed to look like that. So, go ahead and take these sections, rotate them around. Extend the claws, untab this, bring it up and around, extend the claws, go ahead and take the little feet and just lift them up like that, and then split these sections. That'll give you a little bit more of a splay. Take the bucket, swing it all the way around. And then this will go into there. So just take them, slot them together. Sometimes it helps if you support this piece from behind because it is on a hinge and you are trying to force a lot of stuff onto a hinge, but that'll clip together like so. Arrange it, orient it like this. Now, you can have it so that you can have it so that Hightower's head is just kind of collapsed back like so. According to the instructions, what they want you to do is they want you to extend Hightower's head like so. Take this little claw and then clip it onto the back like so. That'll give Devastator a thumb, which would work if this wasn't so flimsy. So I go ahead and just leave the crane up top and then collapse the head back into the body like so. And now that we have both of the arms, we'll go ahead and attach them to the shoulders. So go ahead and drop the shoulder into view. There we go. Need one more book. Man, need a lot of books to prop up this camera for. Got like 4 books now that this thing is propped up on. Okay. You should be able to see that from here. So, right here, there's a little slot with a little locking tab near the top. And these will just drop down in Combiner War style. So, go ahead and do that. Make sure it's dropped in all the way. That's one arm done. Second verse, same as the first. There you have that. And now with it all said and done, here he is. This is the Transformers Studio Series Combiner Devastator in all of his glory. And I must say, for the faults that he has, he does look damn good. Yeah, so not really much that I can do in terms of showing off a lot of his features because he's just so big and my camera, I'd have to do it one-handed. I mean, this guy is hefty. There are some things that I want to address. For example, one, the lack of a waist rotation, or an overly tight waist rotation. If he does have one, it's overly tight to the point where I don't trust myself with it. The lack of any real neck or head posability. You can open his mouth pretty wide, actually. But you can't like look up or down. It's all locked into place. His arms do have rotation, as well as a bit of a butterfly joint at this part. The arms can move up and down, a little bit of elbow articulation. Same on this side, although these wheels do get in the way of the collapsible elbow articulation. He does have a tendency to have this part. One thing that I wish was a thing was that this section locked into place. Oh, almost forgot. I like to just take these and flip them up. But this does not lock into place, and it does kind of push his shoulder blades backwards. I feel like if this locked into place, his shoulders would be a lot more stable. But just as it is, that does leave a little bit to be desired. These legs of overload don't lock in anywhere that I can find, so they are just kind of sitting up there. He doesn't have any knees whatsoever. And I know you could probably say, oh, well, if you just collapse this piece back, that would be a knee. No, the individual legs or the individual arm parts, actually lock this whole assembly into place. So even if you did push that back, you wouldn't have proper knees. This is pretty much the only pose you can get him in, except for maybe like raising up his arms or something like that. But he is, for all intents and purposes, for the purpose of like play pattern and whatnot, he is a glorified statue. He's a display piece, which I personally don't mind, because damn does he look good on my shelf. I mean, just look at him in comparison to, size comparison for Megatron, for example. He just towers over him. In fact, here's Studio Series leader Shockwave, and he just completely dwarfs Shockwave. It's not even funny. And so all the Studio Series figures that I have just look absolutely tiny compared to this guy, even the bigger ones, which is really good. If you want to get this figure for the sake of playing with the figure, for having it like action poses and stuff like that, you're not going to be in as much luck. He can do a few poses, but he can't do like the four-armed or quadrupedal crawling pose that he had in the Michael Bay movie. Oh, by the way, the little foot stand for Rampage's robot mode for Devastator is just supposed to plug into that top red port in combined mode. I don't remember if I remember to mention that or not, but yeah, but for what he is, because he's made up of 2 Leader class figures, 4 Voyager class figures, and 2 Deluxes. So that's over $200 retail price. For what you're paying for, what you're going to get is pretty decent individual figures. I didn't really have many complaints about the individual figures. Really good vehicle modes. They look good in vehicle mode together. Really good robot modes. They all look good in robot mode together. I'm not sure if I actually took a picture of them all in robot mode, and for Devastator mode, they look good together. And that's really the thing. They look good together. They fit together incredibly solid, almost stupidly solid in some cases. But if you want a large combiner, the third-party combiner that they're doing for this guy, I'm sure you've seen the reviews of it, or of at least some of the components for it, but the price is going to be astronomical. But it's going to be able to pull off a lot more poses. It's going to be able to actually be playable. This guy is a very good statue. And if you want to pay that much for a statue, excellent. But in terms of having the same articulation and play value as Studio Series Megatron, Shockwave, any of the Studio Series figures on their own, he is a glorified brick compared to a lot of others. I've got like 6 Combiner Wars combiners, and yeah, it takes them a while to get posed, but you can at least pose them. This guy, what you see is basically what you're going to get. This is as much as you can get from this guy. He does have some articulation, but just because of the weight of him and the way that some joints are required that don't exist, he is basically a glorified display piece. So, although let's get in on that head sculpt. I don't think we actually got a close look at his head sculpt yet. A lot of really good detail, though, and that's one thing. That's one thing I can't sing enough of the praises is of all the detail that went into him to make him the way that he is, to make him look like the screen accurate Devastator. At least by the standards of Hasbro and Takara, this is really good. I will say that. In the standards of for the standards of Hasbro and Takara, this is immaculate. So, yeah. So that's all I really have to say about this. He was about a year and a half of a journey of trying to hunt down the pieces. In fact, whenever I started with scrap metal, I didn't even think I would go in on the whole combiner because I'm like, I don't have $200 plus $250 to be spending on just one combiner. I didn't even have anywhere to put it at the time, and even now, I'm only just now, right whenever I got Overload, did I actually have the time and the space to be able to display him in his combined mode as is. So, but the individual figures, most, if not all of them, are very good. So just by that logic alone, the fact that they can combine is just, if you consider that as just like, hey, here's a little perk, you get 6 really good figures that happen to combine. Awesome. I do like this guy. I would recommend him if you're a fan of Transformers, if you're a fan of this form of Devastator. If you're one of those people who don't like this form of Devastator, don't get him whatsoever. If you like this design, definitely pick them up. Definitely keep them in Devastator mode because He's a very good, very prominent display piece. I feel like I've been rambling and repeating myself, so I'm just going to go ahead and end the video now. So anyway, this has been the review for the Transformers Studio Series Devastator Combiner. I have been Ray Recall. Y'all have been awesome. Thank you so much for sticking with me on this journey up to this point, and I will be reviewing more mainline, Earthrise, some old Siege stuff that, we still have some stuff from Siege that we missed out on reviewing. So I will be reviewing that stuff then at another day, because it's, what is it, like 3 o'clock in the morning right now. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see y'all very soon in the next video. Peace.